Okay, so we have a completely wild situation that I don't know if I have ever seen before take place, but we got to talk about it. There was a very unique refereeing night tonight. The refereeing itself was horrible, but I'm more specifically talking about one play, right? Bad reffing does happen, but there was one play that quite frankly made me sick to my stomach because I thought it was going to cost the Bears the game. They ended up losing anyway, but who knows what happens if this call does not go their way. And there was some other stuff which made me even more like just confused and frustrated. So let's get into it. So first we have right here, I'm going to pause it real quick. 59, this is right when the camera starts showing, he's looking over towards the Pittsburgh bench. He's not looking at any player on the field, and he's well far over. I mean, he's at the hash mark. So he could just be looking off into the distance, kind of, away from everything, and really doing a very nonchalant celebration, if anything. It's kind of a very tame celebration. He sort of slowly walks and gets flagged for taunting here. I think some people thought maybe he was saying something to Harvin, the punter number 6 there, which, that would at least be somewhat understandable. I could get the logic behind it, even if I don't agree with it. However, what happens later is going to be what's, to me, really more disturbing. So we cut to here now, because this is when the camera picks back up, and you see everyone watching that's like, wait a second, did he just bump into the referee, or did the referee bump into him? What happened? I want to break this down because this is something that I think at best is weird and at worst is really not good. So couple things I want to talk about because I'm going to break this down, and it might seem a little bit silly to do so, but I think it's important to kind of talk about the whole situation and see like what exactly happened. I'm looking at the ref, and who I know nothing about, no idea what's happening. And you see, one thing that's worth mentioning is watch his feet. That's going to be a really important detail, actually. Watch what he does with his feet. So he first moves his feet away from 59. So doing that kind of makes you seem, okay, first things first, we know his momentum isn't taking him backwards. It's not like he was already going in that direction. Another important detail is you see where his hand is grabbing. His hand is grabbing the flag. So some people were saying he got bumped and that's why he decided to throw the flag. That doesn't appear to be the case. It looks like he was getting ready to throw the flag, and because he's trying to avoid contact or get into the contact, depending on your take on this, it took him a second longer to actually throw it. That I do believe that. I don't believe this contact resulted in the flag whatsoever. Another important detail is the ref clearly sees Marsh, 59. He's clearly aware of where he is. At this point, he does start to turn a little bit, but, there's still not really going to be contact made right here. So at this point, you're thinking, okay, whatever. This is where you get to the weirdness of it all. Look at him kind of go back into Marsh, and people were saying, wait a second, did he run into him? Even I tweeted out like live reaction, like, did he just try to hip check him? What's going on here? So I was very confused by that, very much so. So I even looked at myself in the mirror and kind of tried to mimic this maneuver that the ref did and see like, okay, is this something that maybe you would naturally do without thinking about it? And I really don't think so. I really think that like there's a very real chance he did try to run into him. The issue with this is there's just no way of knowing. We can't get inside his head. We don't know if a referee would intentionally try to run into someone, and of course the conspiracy theorists are going to run wild with this, so it's not a good look for the NFL without a doubt. So yeah, I really don't know what to make of this. Part of me wants to just be like, that was clearly, he was annoyed at the situation, whatever. He didn't like the taunting thing, and he like bumped into him a little bit and then threw a flag, which is, if that's the case, that's horrible, and he should be suspended. I definitely think someone has to have a conversation with him. Someone has to say what happened here. And if he says, I was trying to avoid the contact and I kind of did a weird thing, which we should mention does sometimes happen. Sometimes you do just kind of in a weird situation, you don't handle the perfect way. These things happen a lot faster in real life than they do when I'm literally doing like a frame by frame breakdown. So I do want to make this very clear that it's totally possible that he sort of, he's not a professional athlete, right? And he kind of just weirdly did something. What kind of confuses me is the way that he was moving away, but then kind of runs into it. That's what was bizarre to me. But again, We don't know. We can't get inside his head. It's impossible to know. I don't think it's crazy to like suspend him, honestly, because it looks bad. And if you're the NFL, you kind of have to protect the shield a little bit. So if you were to just like suspend him for something, like even like a game with pay or something, just to kind of send a little bit of a message, like do not create contact, because I mean, if a player did that, he's getting thrown out of the game. I mean, if Marsh does that, even if it wasn't a true accident, he's getting thrown out of the game. So I think there should be repercussions by the refs. I really do believe that. And I know that might sound crazy, but it's the wrong time to be making that mistake if you did make that mistake. And then, the over-the-top flag people were pointing to, I don't know. It just leaves a sour taste in your mouth, and especially with the Bears losing, although at least thank God they didn't lose exactly because of that, although, who knows how things go. Right, there's the whole chaos theory. It's not guaranteed that they win if that play doesn't happen, but still. So yeah, weird. I think the main thing we have to talk about is that should not have been. I hate this. I hate this taunting rule. I hate the taunting rule. I talked about it right when it was announced, and people said maybe it won't be that bad. We all knew it was going to be bad, though. Most people said this is going to suck, and of course it sucks, because there's never been a rule like this that's been implemented and hasn't sucked. It's never happened. Every time a rule like this gets implemented, it's awful. Taunting should not be a penalty. I don't want a team to lose because a ref, a third party decided that they didn't like where one guy was staring. It's ridiculous that that's a thing, especially in such a violent sport like football. It makes you sick to watch something like that. And I don't know. That was frustrating, and especially frustrating given the extra stuff, which again, we don't know. I know people are going to jump to conclusions. The reality is nobody other than the ref knows if if it was intentional or it was an accident. But listen, in baseball, when a player clearly has reason to get hit by the ball for whatever reason, and a pitcher hits him, even if it was a legit mistake, the player gets thrown out of the game. To me, I kind of feel similar like this. It's like, listen, maybe it was a legit accident, but I mean, it's the wrong time to make that accident. So I hope there's some sort of punishment, or at least some sort of like, we legitimately don't feel like he did anything intentional. But I mean, honestly, there should be punishment by the refs, or for the refs, just for how they officiated, let alone this stuff. That's how I feel. What do you guys think? Am I being crazy by suggesting the punishment here? Was it just he happened to bump into him? Let me know what you think. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.